Hey, quick check-in with Chapter 7 of Gulliver of Mars. Yes, as expected, there was uh, there was the wedding, the great wedding of everybody getting wedded, where they basically picked ballots out of a out of a big container. But it was like one of these things of like, yeah, but Gulliver's like, but you know, Haru, I want you. It's like I'm doing this all to chance is bullshit. I'm not, if I should just basically, say screw it all and take you and fight everybody for you. And she's like, no, you don't have to do that. And then she says, a line of like a silver fish and a line of thread in a golden bowl, and he's like, what the hell does this mean? And it's like they bring out the thing and it's like, oh, there's a hair, and there's a hair attached to her little tablet in this thing, so he's able to fish it out. Luckily nobody else fishes it out, as they're just take by chance does take it out, um and plucks it out and gets her. And she's like, "Oh, it's all great. It's wonderful. However, you should be aware that Prince Hath wanted me for himself, and he's not happy about it." It's like, well, what can he do? And basically, she feeds him all this really strong Martian wine, and he's pretty completely wasted. When in comes these three big, hairy, manly men who are the ambassadors of Arhap, the barbarians who have conquered his Martians, and now take all the tribute. And he comes in and they count all the tribute, having a long stick with notches in it, which to keep track of that, because they haven't learned signs or symbols of any writing or anything like that. And so they list all this stuff, and Gulliver's just like, oh yeah, that's boy, looking at this on the outside, and it's like, oh, and now they're gonna pick some maid boy. He's gonna have a hands full with these big hairy dudes, and doesn't think anything of it, but like, we want the most beautiful woman in the thing. And at which point Prince Hath goes, oh, I know who the most beautiful woman in the room is, and points over at Gulliver, the woman beside Gulliver. And he's like, huh? What? Oh yeah, she is. Yeah, she is the most beautiful. And suddenly the dudes are there, goes, yep, grabs her, and he's like, holy shit, this is happening. They're taking her away, trying to take her away from me, Haru away from me. He rears up, uh, wrestles with the guy, kind of momentarily, kind of is able to fight off the effects of the alcohol, slams the guy down, throws him across the room. But unfortunately, at this point, the alcohol does pick up on him, and he falls unconscious. And I guess he's gonna wake up with Haru gone, and him having to uh, catch the princess. I'm really enjoying reading this out loud. This is what I'm doing as my kind of little project of reading out loud stuff. I've read other stuff out loud, and it was like, it was a challenge. This is like really kind of silky smooth, um, enjoyable reading out loud. It's languid, but it's sensually lovely languid. It's like, it's well written. It is actually well written. It's probably got more writing chops in that sense than Edgar Rice Burroughs. Now, what Edgar Rice Burroughs has is he can write a ripping adventure yarn that's kind of fast paced. This is none of that. Where he's still kind of languidly around. He's like, oh, I miss Anne. It's like, I can't find her, because like this chapter opens with him saying like, I don't want to do a banquet, and kind of going off, and he's like, I can't find Anne. And that's kind of like, and because they don't have any last names here, it's like, it's like a needle in a haystack that he's ever going to actually find her. He watches them do a funeral thing where it's like basically just kind of load them up on a barge and they sail down the river to who knows where. It turns out that Martians basically, They rapidly, like he says, like there's not, I don't see any kids around here, and not too many old people. And what happens is that when a Martian is born, they quite rapidly mature to what looks like kind of the age of 25, and then they stay there until they're really old, and then they suddenly look really old and die. So that's why you don't see very many old people, because they pretty crap. Once you start showing your age, you die. I guess that means some of the slim youths running around are probably pretty underage children, but you can't tell the difference between them and a full-grown adult. They all look the same. So it's kind of that weird homogeneity of all these young dappled youths around, some of which are very youths, and some of them are probably, older people, but not old. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Gulliver Mars. I will have to thank Junebug Films when I do my main review, because I'm really enjoying it. It's a completely different experience than the John Carter series, but it's just really great, really fun. All right, I will leave it there and chat to you tomorrow. Bye for now.